One of the most powerful prisons in human life has no walls. It is the opinion of other people. Entire lives are shaped by the fear of judgment. In every generation, people struggle with the same invisible prison, the opinions of others. Many lives are shaped not by personal values, but by the constant need for approval. People change their behavior to be accepted. They hide their true thoughts to avoid criticism. They measure their worth through the reactions of others. The Roman philosopher Epictetus once said that if you want to improve, you must be willing to appear foolish to others. Why? Because the moment you begin living according to your own principles, someone will disagree. Someone will criticize. Someone will misunderstand your intentions. And if your peace depends on approval, these reactions will control your life. Stoicism teaches a different path, a path of inner independence. It begins with a simple realization: you cannot control what other people think. Their opinions are shaped by their experiences, their fears, their expectations, and their misunderstandings. Two people can observe the same action and judge it completely differently. One might admire you, another might criticize you. Neither opinion changes who you truly are. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself of this constantly. As Emperor of Rome, he faced endless judgment from the public, the Senate, and his enemies. Yet in his private writings, he returned to the same idea again and again. The approval of others is temporary, character is permanent. When you focus too much on how others see you, you slowly lose sight of who you are. Your decisions become shaped by fear. Fear of embarrassment, fear of criticism, fear of rejection. And without realizing it, you begin living someone else's life. The Stoics believed that true freedom begins the moment you release the need for external validation. This does not mean ignoring all advice. Wisdom sometimes comes from listening to others. But there is a difference between learning from criticism and becoming controlled by it. A Stoic mind evaluates opinions calmly. If a criticism is useful, it accepts it. If it is empty, it lets it pass. Just as a rock remains unmoved by the wind, the Stoic mind remains steady amid judgment. Consider how often people change their behavior simply to avoid being judged. They silence their ideas. They hide their ambitions. They avoid risks that might lead to failure. But failure itself is not the real danger. The real danger is living cautiously in order to satisfy the expectations of others. The Stoics understood that criticism is unavoidable. Even the wisest individuals in history faced ridicule and rejection. Socrates was mocked. Epictetus was born a slave. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and was still criticized. If great minds could not escape judgment, why should anyone else expect to? Once you accept that criticism is inevitable, it loses much of its power. Instead of fearing judgment, you begin to see it as a natural part of life. Someone will always disagree, someone will always misunderstand, and that is perfectly acceptable. Your responsibility is not to control every opinion around you. Your responsibility is to live with integrity, to act according to reason, to remain faithful to your values. When you do this, something remarkable happens. You begin to experience a quiet form of confidence, not the loud confidence that seeks attention, but the calm certainty that comes from knowing who you are. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself constantly. You no longer feel threatened by disagreement. You simply continue walking your path. The Stoic philosophers often reminded themselves that the judgment of others is temporary. People change their opinions quickly. What seems important today will be forgotten tomorrow, but your character remains with you for a lifetime. This is why the Stoics focused on internal qualities rather than external reputation: discipline, wisdom, courage, self-control. These qualities cannot be given by applause, and they cannot be taken away by criticism. When your sense of worth comes from within, the opinions of others begin to lose their influence. You still listen, you still learn, but you no longer live in fear of judgment. The Stoic art of not caring about what others think is not about arrogance. It is about independence. It is about understanding that your life should not be directed by the changing moods of the crowd. If these teachings resonate with you, consider subscribing to Stoic Wisdom for more reflections on ancient philosophy and the discipline of the human mind.